For the NBA, all eyes are on New York today. The Board of Governors has convened, and the biggest story in the league right now is what will happen with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. Last week, the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast reported that Kawhi had a $28 million no-show endorsement deal with the now bankrupt company Aspiration. Clipper Governor Steve Ballmer, he says the team has followed all league rules, and when he spoke with our Ramona Shelburne last week, said, quote, "I'd want the league to investigate and take it seriously." So today, we heard from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver for the first time on this. Let's take a listen together.
When the podcast came out, it was news to me. I'd frankly never heard of the company Aspiration before, and I'd never heard a whiff of anything around an endorsement deal with Kawhi or anything around engagement with the Los Angeles Clippers. So it was all new to me. I heard it. I saw some of the follow-up information. We spoke internally. Rick Buchanan, our general counsel, is here, who oversees any investigations. Rick had a conversation with Steve Ballmer, and we quickly concluded this was something that rose to the level that necessitates an investigation. In fact, one that's done outside of our office. And Wachtell Lipton, New York law firm that we've used in the past for for investigations like this, is overseeing it. And again, I would also say I've been around the league long enough in different permutations of allegations and accusations that I'm a big believer in due process and fairness, and you need to now let the investigation run its course. The public at times reaches conclusions that later turn out to be completely false. And so I would want anybody else in situation Mr. Ballmer is in now, or Kawhi Leonard for that matter, to be treated the same way I would want to be treated if people were making allegations against me. So the answer is, we're not a court of law at the end of the day either, that we have broad authority to look at all information and to weigh it accordingly.
So that was Adam Silver just moments ago. I'm joined now by a pair of NBA champions in Kendrick Perkins and Channing Frye, our #1 WNBA pick, Chiney Ogwumike, and our front office insider, Bobby Marks, to just sort of peel back the layers here. So, Bobby, I want to start with you. When you hear cap circumvention, because that's really what all of this comes down to, what alarm bells does that set off that is leading to now this investigation?
Well, Malik, I think there's two cardinal sins when you look at the NBA. It's certainly gambling on games, and then when you look at salary cap circumvention, certainly what the Clippers are being accused of. I would warn, though, what the optics look like in the Clippers case and what the evidence might eventually prove could be two different things. And I certainly go back to my situation in Brooklyn in 2013 when we were investigated by an outside law firm for salary cap circumvention in the Andre Karolinko situation when we were exonerated here. And I think when you listen to the commissioner here, they're going to go through this, a thorough investigation. And if the Clippers are found, there'll be severe penalties here. But the one takeaway is that this could be a long investigation here as far as what the Clippers went through as far as some type of circumvention here. Yeah,
this isn't a process that's necessarily going to reach its conclusion in the next couple of days or even weeks. It could be months. Perk, this is the first time we're hearing from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver on this, and I don't think we heard anything out of what we expected, that there is going to be an investigation and also to allow due process to take place. But I haven't had a chance to hear your reaction yet to sort of the totality of these allegations and now the investigation moving forward.
Well, what's up, y'all? It's been a minute.
Oh, hey,
it's been a minute. I miss y'all.
Good to see you.
Shannon, welcome.
I saw you
welcome
like
to
literally
NBA
a week
today.
ago.
But not here.
You looking somewhat good up there. Chiney, Malika,
look,
great to see y'all, fam. And Bobby, what's happening? Listen, one, this is why we got the best commissioner in sports, because Adam Silver, he never jumps to conclusions. And like he said in this interview, we're going to go through the process and to be fair to Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard. Now, if they come out throughout the investigation and these allegations are true, I have a problem. Now, we know that the Clippers, they love Kawhi Leonard dirty draws, and even the one that he wore last year. Okay, he is their biggest asset. You're supposed to protect your asset. If these allegations are true, then I hate that Kawhi Leonard is actually the face of this conversation, because it's Steve Ballmer's job and Uncle Dennis, who represents Kawhi Leonard's job to protect Kawhi Leonard and make sure they do their due diligence and never put a guy in this situation. I had this conversation a week ago with Shannon on road tripping about, hey, how many guys actually read their contracts in the NBA? I never read my contract. That's why you have agents in place. Bobby, I'm pretty sure you don't never talk directly with the player. You're talking to their agents, their lawyers. All we do is sign the paperwork because we trust that the people that are representing us are going to put us in the right position and protect us. So if these allegations are true, I'm really pissed. I'm going to be really pissed off at one Steve Ballmer and one Uncle Dennis, who represents Kawhi, because they're supposed to protect him as the asset and the face of this organization.
And Perk, there are a lot of unwritten rules when it comes to basketball. There are unwritten rules that you sort of understand as a professional when you sign on to do a deal. Some of the things that sort of jump out to me were the fact that, you know, the company never announced that there was a marketing deal, one, him getting like 2 times, 3 times more than other celebrity endorsements. Like, there are a lot of fishy aspects here. And to me, like, the optics are the big issue. I like that and I like that we don't jump to conclusions. There's gonna be an investigation. But yeah, I think this is one of those things that you have to bottle up, because these circumstances can get out of control if you're signing for an endorsement that you never really had to do anything for. That is a tough situation.
After talking about this for the last 3 days, what I'm finding out is like that company was throwing money around like it was monopoly money, right? And so for me, you know, he's saying, you know, at the end of the day, we don't know the details of how much he got paid, when, or how that structure is. So for me, as Perk talks about it, they probably were like, hey, you're going to get 24 over this amount. We're going to work out how much and where you have to do these appearances. It may be $28 million if you do or if we reach these things. So those details are extremely important in how it's worked out. He may only got $50,000 just to say put your name on this thing, and then they obviously filed for bankruptcy. So for me, I'm just waiting on the details. But for me, when my agent comes to me with something, he's like, hey, you have the opportunity to make 28 if you do A, B, C, and D.
But there's an expectation of knowing what you're going to do to fulfill the deal. And the fact that there is a lot of question marks around fulfilling it, that's where the issue lies.
That's where the big issue is.
And look, this is something where the DOJ is getting involved to investigate the company aspiration and what exactly all was going on there. There are a lot of layers to all of this, and the Clippers and Steve Ballmer, they have denied vehemently any wrongdoing in all of this. And Adam Silver is saying, all right, let's let this due process play out. We will absolutely do that. But Bobby, there's a lot here to sort through. As fans at home are watching this and wondering what's the most important thing for us to watch and listen to, how should we feel today? Maybe as Chiney is saying, with so much information coming in and not a whole lot of solid facts, how should fans be walking away right now?
Yeah, I think the fans, how they should be walking away is that this is going to be a waiting game here. I think that what they should realize that do not jump to conclusions on here. What is the smoking gun? I know in the CBA it could be circumstantial evidence here, but I think the league would go down a slippery slope if we're going that way, because I think you can find a lot of teams who have maybe violated the salary cap based on circumstantial evidence with regards to the Clippers here. I think the other thing too, Malika, real quick, and this is just from talking to teams, the teams I've talked to, they're not expecting a penalty here, a significant penalty, if anything, just because they realize how significant salary cap circumvention is. If anything, do we maybe see a rule in place where the league takes a more of a understanding as far as vetting what contracts players sign with sponsorship agreements that are related with teams?
Right, because the central question here is, was there a way that the Clippers were able to give Kawhi Leonard more money than another team would have been able to? And ultimately, is that what is in part what led him to signing with the Clippers? That is what we're asking when we're asking about salary circumvention. Bobby, it's a really complicated issue. We appreciate you making it a little bit simpler for us. Let's move on to some more topics being covered right now in the Board of Governors meeting. Shams Charania reported this. We saw this rule tested out in Summer League, right? But it's official. This is the change for the 25-26 season here. Unsuccessful end-of-period heaves. Those will now be recorded as missed field goal attempts for the team, not for the player. That is what sources are telling Shams. Wait, Shannon is saying what? What do you mean?
You shot the ball. You shot the ball.
Respectfully, this is how we affectionately call it, like grenades. When you toss it to your teament's like, hey, I don't want
to throw me them grenades. Me and Swish love those. Man, what on the best shooter on the court.
love them. Nikola Jokic loves them.
Loves
There's
them.
no player
You
that this is going to be
oh, well,
benefit more.
You're mad that if he knocks down the shot, then he doesn't get the credit?
No, I'm saying who cares? Like, if you're that worried about your field goal percentage.
But think about how often that ball goes in. Not that often, but you still want people playing to the final possession of a quarter, of a
You
half.
should do that because you're getting paid to win the game. Take the shot. If that's an extra shot,
Do you
take
think
the
that
shot.
everyone's taking it that serious?
No, I don't think
I've
a lot of people,
always
because some people
thought-
can't shoot from the free throw line. Man, throw that thing
I'm
up there.
very curious about this. I've always thought just take the shot. So what if your percentage goes down a teeny little bit? Jokic has done it. What do you think? Now this is an official league rule.
I remember when Dwayne Wade, Braun down in Miami, they didn't take those last-second shots, and they used to hold the ball. It was a ripple effect. We started doing it in Boston, and Doc Rivers called the meeting. He was like, hey, guys, no, we're not doing that. We're going to take these shots.
Yeah.
And I remember E. House, he was on the verge of hitting the record books in the Celtics history. He would not shoot those end of the quarter, end of the halftime type shots.
now let's
full
pressure.
court.
You know, my
That's
favorite
pressure.
is the one where it's like, oh, 3, 2, 1. Oh, now, right as soon as the buzzer
that
goes
makes
off,
me
I'm going to
so
take
mad.
that
That
shot.
makes me
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm a